My fiancé handed me a prenup and said, "Your house becomes ours, and my $60,000 debt becomes yours." I smiled, folded it, and handed it back. She shouted, "Sign it or we're done." I said, "Being done sounds perfect." I walked away calmly, but that night when she received the envelope from the lawyer she thought would defend her, she dropped to her knees after reading the first line. I'm 32, been engaged for about 4 months now. We'd been dating for 2 years before I proposed. Met clears throat her at a friend's wedding. One of those classic rom-com scenarios where we ended up sitting at the same table. She was funny, smart, gorgeous. We clicked immediately. Things moved pretty fast. Moved in together after a year, got engaged last winter. I own my house outright. Bought it 6 years ago as a fixer-upper. Spent weekends and evenings renovating it myself. It's not a mansion, but it's mine. 3 bedrooms, nice yard, good neighborhood. Paid off the mortgage 2 years ago after busting my ass with overtime and side projects. That house represents every sacrifice I made in my 20s. Skipped vacations, drove a beat-up car, ate ramen more nights than I care to admit. She rents an apartment across town, has about $60,000 in credit card debt from what she calls her investment period, a failed online boutique, and some bad financial decisions in her mid-20s. I knew about the debt when we got engaged. She'd been upfront about it, said she was working on paying it down. I respected the honesty. 3 weeks ago, she brought up getting a prenup. I thought it was smart, actually, protecting both our assets, going into marriage with everything clear. She said her sister recommended it, that it was just a formality to make sure we were both covered. I think that's a good idea, I told her. Let's each get our own lawyers, do this right. Actually, she said, my sister's friend is a lawyer. She offered to draw something up for us, save us some money. Red flag number 1, but I ignored it. Figured her sister's friend would be fair, professional. Last Tuesday, she came over with the prenup. We were supposed to have a nice dinner, go over it together. She seemed nervous, kept fidgeting with her wine glass. "So, I've got the prenup," she said, sliding a folder across the table. I opened it, started reading, got about 3 paragraphs in before my brain fully processed what I was seeing. The house, my house that I bought and renovated and paid off, would become marital property immediately upon marriage. Her debt, all 60 grand of it, would also become marital property, split 50-50 between us. I read it again, then a third time. "What the hell is this?" I asked. "It's the prenup." "Just sign it and we're good to go. This says my house becomes ours and your debt becomes ours. That's not how prenups work," she shrugged. "Marriage is about sharing everything." The lawyer said this is pretty standard. Standard? I paid for that house. I renovated it myself. You want me to just hand over half of it? It's not handing it over. We'll be married. What's yours is mine. What's mine is yours, except your debt magically becomes our debt. But my house also becomes our house. You see how that's completely one-sided? She crossed her arms. "I thought you loved me. I thought we were a team. We are a team, but this prenup is garbage. I'm not signing this." Her face went red. "My sister's friend spent hours on this." "She knows what she's doing. Then your sister's friend is either incompetent or she's screwing me over on purpose. I need my own lawyer to look at this. We don't have time for that. The wedding is in 3 months. Then we push the wedding back until we get a fair prenup. This isn't happening." She stood up, grabbed the folder. "You know what? Maybe we should just call off the wedding entirely if you're going to be like this. Maybe we should." She stared at me like I just slapped her. "What? You heard me. If you think I'm signing away my house and taking on your debt just to prove I love you, then yeah, maybe we shouldn't get married. You're being ridiculous. I'm being realistic. This prenup is a joke and you know it." She grabbed her purse. "I'm leaving. Call me when you're ready to be reasonable." She slammed the door on her way out. I sat there staring at the prenup for another hour, reading every line. It got worse the more I looked at it. There were clauses about her being entitled to alimony if we divorced, about me covering her debts if she couldn't pay them, about the house being sold and proceeds split equally, even though I'd be the only one who'd paid into it. This wasn't a prenup, this was a damn heist. Update 1. I didn't call her, didn't text, let her stew for 2 days. On Thursday, she showed up at my house again around 7:00 in the evening. Let herself in with her key. Another thing I was starting to reconsider. "We need to talk," she said. "I agree. I've been thinking about what you said about the prenup." "Okay. And I still think you're wrong, but I'm willing to compromise." "What kind of compromise?" She pulled out her phone, showed me some notes she'd written. "We can adjust it so the house stays in your name for the first 2 years of marriage. After that, it becomes joint property. Fair? How is that fair? It's my house. I paid for it. And I'm going to be your wife. I'll be living there, taking care of it. I deserve some ownership. You deserve ownership of something you didn't pay for. That's how marriage works. You share everything. Then why doesn't the prenup say your debt stays yours? She went quiet. That's what I thought. I said, you want me to share my assets with you, but you don't want to actually share your liabilities. You want me to take on your debt while you take half my house. That's not marriage. That's a con. How dare you? I dare because it's true. This whole prenup is designed to screw me over. She started crying. I can't believe you're being this selfish. I thought you were different. I'm not being selfish. I'm being smart. And honestly, the way you're pushing this so hard makes me wonder what else you're not telling me. What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm getting my own lawyer. We'll draft a fair prenup, one that protects both of us equally. If you can't agree to that, then maybe we shouldn't get married. She wiped her eyes. Fine, get your lawyer. But if you don't sign something soon, I'm calling off the wedding. Do what you have to do. She stormed out again. This time I called a lawyer friend of mine who specializes in family law. I told him everything and sent him photos of the prenup. He called me back an hour later. Dude, this is insane, he said. Seriously, it's one of the most one-sided prenups I've ever seen. If you sign this, you'll be completely screwed if you ever get divorced. That's what I thought. Does she know how bad this is? She has to. Her sister's friend drafted it. Then her sister's friend is either terrible at her job or deliberately trying to screw you over. Either way, don't sign it. Let me draft something fair, something that actually protects both of you. How long will it take? I can have it ready by next week. Do it. I texted my fiancée. My lawyer is drafting a fair prenup. It should be ready next week and we can review it together. She replied almost immediately. Your lawyer. I thought we were using my lawyer. Your lawyer wrote a prenup that only benefits you. We need something fair. This is ridiculous. You're trying to control everything. I'm trying to protect myself. If that's a problem for you, then maybe we need to rethink this whole relationship. She never replied. Update 2 the next day, Friday, she started blowing up my phone. She called me 12 times between noon and 5 p.m. I was at work and couldn't answer. When I finally called her back that evening, she was furious. You've been ignoring me all day. I was working. What's going on? What's going on is you're trying to sabotage our wedding. How am I sabotaging anything? I'm getting a fair prenup drafted. That's the responsible thing to do. A fair prenup is the one I already gave you. That prenup was garbage and you know it. It was perfectly reasonable. It wasn't. And the fact that you keep defending it makes me think you know exactly how unfair it is. Silence. You know what? She finally said. I'm done playing games. You have until Sunday to sign the prenup I gave you. If you don't, we're done. The wedding is off. Everything is off. You're giving me an ultimatum. I'm giving you a choice. Sign it or lose me. I laughed. I couldn't help it. You're really going to end our relationship because I won't sign a prenup that takes my house and dumps your debt on me. It doesn't take anything. It's called marriage. No, it's called fraud, and I'm not doing it. Then we're done. Being done sounds perfect, I said calmly. Click, she hung up. I sat there for a minute trying to process what had just happened. Part of me was angry, part of me was relieved. Mostly I was just exhausted. I called my lawyer friend. She just gave me an ultimatum. Sign her prenup by Sunday or she's calling off the wedding. So she's calling off the wedding then. Looks like it. Dude, I hate to say it, but you're dodging a bullet. Anyone who gives you an ultimatum over a fair prenup isn't someone you want to marry. Yeah, I'm starting to realize that. Let me ask you something. Did you ever really look into her finances? Not really. Why? Because $60,000 in credit card debt from a failed business doesn't add up. I've seen cases like this before. Usually there's more to the story. Like what? Gambling, a shopping addiction, or financially supporting someone else. If I were you, I'd dig a little deeper. That hit me differently. I'd never questioned her story about the debt. She always said it came from the boutique inventory, marketing, website costs, but now that he mentioned it, $60,000 seemed like a lot for a small online shop. Update 3 Saturday morning, I started digging. I began with social media. I looked through her old posts from when she was running the boutique. Sure, there were pictures of products, but there were also countless photos of nights at clubs, expensive restaurants, designer clothes, and trips to Vegas, Miami, and the Caribbean. None of it matched the story of someone buried in business debt. Then I checked the photos she was tagged in. I found several from about 3 years ago, right around the time she claimed the boutique was failing. She was at some guy's birthday party in what looked like a very expensive venue, everyone dressed to the nines. One caption read, "Best boyfriend ever. Thanks for everything, babe, boyfriend." She had told me she'd been single for 2 years before we met. I kept digging and found his profile. I scrolled through his posts. There they were, couple photos, vacations, the whole thing. Their relationship had ended about 6 months before she and I met, but here's the kicker. His last few posts about her claimed she'd maxed out his credit cards, borrowed money she never paid back, and left him broke. One post read, "Learn from my mistakes. Don't let someone use you for your wallet." My stomach dropped. I went back through the timeline of her debt all over again. Most of her debt piled up while she was dating her ex. After they broke up, the charges stopped, proving it wasn't business debt. She'd lied. My lawyer friend said she had a pattern of using partners financially, and the prenup was designed to make me responsible for her debt while giving her rights to my house. A few days later, she showed up at my house demanding to talk. I left her belongings on the porch and refused to let her in. When she threatened to call the police, I warned I'd report her for trespassing. Her sister called, accusing me of being selfish, but I pointed out the prenup only benefited her and exposed the truth about the debt. She had no real answer. My lawyer drafted a formal letter explaining the fraudulent prenup, her lies, and warning that any further contact would be treated as harassment. After she received it, she called crying, insisting she loved me. I asked her to explain the debt and the prenup. She couldn't. I ended the call and blocked her everywhere. 6 weeks later, I hadn't heard from her again. I changed my locks, upgraded my home security, and moved on. By chance, I met her ex, who told me she'd tried the same financial scheme on him. Hearing his story confirmed I'd made the right decision. I'm doing well now. The house finally feels like mine again. I'm dating casually and taking things slowly. I don't regret proposing. I only regret ignoring the warning signs. Sometimes the hardest lessons teach you exactly what you'll never accept again.